Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Nelson Marquez, and today we're going to discuss the importance of reversing prediabetes. Even if you don't believe it directly affects you, it's crucial to understand this issue because most people with prediabetes don't even know they have it. And the impact it has on your health is serious. Worrying statistics indicate that about 80% of people diagnosed with prediabetes will progress to type 2 diabetes within 10 to 12 years. This makes this condition a highly predictable and worrying progression. Type 2 diabetes is not just an isolated problem. It dramatically increases the risk of cardiovascular disease, stroke, cancer, and dementia, making it one of the biggest global health threats. Currently, more than 830 million people live with type 2 diabetes worldwide, which represents more than 10% of the global population. In Brazil, it is estimated that between 10.2% and 21 million people are affected, depending on the source consulted. But the number of people at risk is even more alarming. Approximately 1.6 billion people worldwide have prediabetes. Adding these numbers together, we are talking about 2 billion people directly dealing with diabetes or prediabetes. In addition, there is an even larger population, about 4 billion people, who are metabolically compromised, what we call pre-prediabetes. These people have mild metabolic dysfunctions, often the result of poor dietary habits and a sedentary lifestyle. The global cost of treating diabetes is estimated at $1 trillion annually, a significant amount when you consider that total global health care expenditures are $18 trillion. Studies suggest that up to 70 to 80% of these costs may be directly or indirectly related to diabetes-related complications, such as cardiovascular and neurological diseases. These costs could sustain entire populations, but are being drained by the impact of this metabolic epidemic. Prediabetes and type 2 diabetes are directly linked to insulin resistance. When we eat carbohydrates, our bodies release insulin to move glucose from our bloodstream into our cells. In healthy people, this process works efficiently. However, a diet high in refined carbohydrates and sugar can overwhelm this system, leading to carbohydrate intolerance, the hallmark of prediabetes. Measuring the problem. Hemoglobin A1C is a metric that reflects your average blood glucose levels over the past 3 months. A level below 5.3% indicates good insulin sensitivity, while a level between 5.7% and 6.4% indicates prediabetes. Above 6.5%, you have type 2 diabetes. Even before your A1C changes significantly, significant metabolic changes are already occurring. A healthy fasting insulin level is about 3 u/ml, but in prediabetes, it can be up to 6 times higher, even with small changes in glucose. The vicious cycle of insulin. As insulin resistance increases, your pancreas must produce more insulin to maintain normal glucose levels. This overworks the organ, which eventually reaches its limit. At this stage, blood sugar begins to rise uncontrollably, and serious complications arise, such as blood sugar levels in the 200 to 300 mg/dl range and A1C levels above 10%. If the pancreas continues to fail, some people develop what is called type 1.5 diabetes, a hybrid form that requires the use of injectable insulin. Unfortunately, many treatments for type 2 diabetes only lower blood sugar levels without addressing the root cause, worsening insulin resistance. Causes and risk factors. The main culprits include excessive carbohydrate consumption, especially sugars and fructose; sedentary lifestyle, which reduces insulin sensitivity; abdominal obesity, associated with the accumulation of visceral fat; inadequate sleep, which affects hormonal regulation; chronic stress, which raises cortisol levels and worsens insulin resistance. The solution lies in prevention. Identifying and reversing prediabetes early is crucial to preventing progression to type 2 diabetes. Lifestyle changes, such as a balanced diet with reduced refined carbohydrates, regular exercise, especially resistance training, stress management, and improved sleep quality. These measures can not only improve insulin sensitivity, but also significantly reduce the risk of associated diseases. Prediabetes is a warning that the body is asking for change. The choice is yours. Act now or face serious complications in the future. Fructose, unlike glucose, is metabolized almost exclusively in the liver, overloading this organ and contributing to the development of insulin resistance. This overload can also lead to the accumulation of fat in the liver, known as non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, an increasingly common problem associated with prediabetes and type 2 diabetes. In addition, excessive consumption of simple sugars stimulates the pancreas to produce more insulin, exacerbating the cycle of insulin resistance. Other causal factors for prediabetes and type 2 diabetes: visceral obesity. Excess abdominal fat is a significant marker of insulin resistance. This fat releases inflammatory substances that interfere with the normal functioning of insulin. Sedentary lifestyle. Lack of physical activity reduces the body's ability to use glucose as an energy source, increasing blood sugar levels and forcing the pancreas to produce more insulin. Sleep disorders. Studies show that sleep deprivation is directly associated with increased insulin resistance. During sleep, the body regulates essential hormones such as cortisol and insulin. Without adequate rest, this balance is disrupted. Chronic stress. Increased cortisol in response to prolonged stress affects insulin sensitivity, promoting visceral fat storage and metabolic dysfunction. Genetics and familial predisposition. Although lifestyle plays a crucial role, some people are genetically predisposed to developing insulin resistance and eventually type 2 diabetes. Chronic inflammation. Low-grade inflammatory conditions, often associated with modern lifestyles, directly interfere with insulin signaling. Exposure to environmental toxins. Chemicals such as pesticides and pollutants can act as endocrine disruptors, impairing metabolic function and increasing the risk of insulin resistance. Long-term use of certain medications, steroids, antipsychotics, and some diuretics have been associated with increased insulin resistance. Preventive interventions and strategies. The good news is that prediabetes is largely reversible with consistent lifestyle changes. The most effective interventions include low glycemic diet. Diets rich in whole foods, non-starchy vegetables, lean proteins, and healthy fats help stabilize blood sugar levels and reduce the burden on the pancreas. Regular physical activity. Aerobic and resistance training increases insulin sensitivity and helps reduce belly fat. Quality sleep. Prioritizing at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep per night can restore hormonal balance and improve metabolism. Stress reduction. Practices such as mindfulness, meditation, and yoga are effective in reducing cortisol levels and improving the body's response to insulin. Regular monitoring of metabolic health. In addition to glucose and hemoglobin A1C levels, measuring fasting insulin levels can provide a more accurate picture of diabetes risk. Global and financial impact of diabetes. The impact of type 2 diabetes goes far beyond the individual health implications. Globally, the costs associated with treating this condition and its complications are exorbitant. With an estimated annual cost of over $1 trillion, diabetes places a huge financial burden on healthcare systems. In addition, related complications such as cardiovascular disease, kidney failure, and amputations have an incalculable human cost. Excessive sugar consumption can significantly strain the liver. Foods with a high glycemic index, which rapidly raise blood glucose levels, are the main culprits. These foods are usually processed, rich in refined sugar and white flour. Foods rich in starch, such as rice and potatoes, may be more suitable depending on the person's metabolic health. While sugar is harmful to anyone, starchy foods only pose significant risks to those who have already developed insulin resistance. Metabolically healthy people who eat whole foods and avoid sugar and high glycemic products can usually metabolize starchy foods without complications. Fatty liver and metabolism. Fatty liver, or hepatic steatosis, is a critical factor in insulin resistance, as it interferes with the liver's ability to regulate glucose levels. Although alcohol has historically been the main cause, today excess sugar, especially fructose, is the main culprit. This is because sugar is widely consumed in significant quantities and is present in a variety of processed foods, often consumed since childhood. In addition, excessive intake of high-calorie and processed foods, which stimulate insulin and increase appetite, contributes to liver overload. Chronic stress and cortisol. Chronic stress leads to increased levels of cortisol, a hormone whose main function is to raise blood glucose to provide energy in fight or flight situations. This frequent increase in glucose, caused by cortisol, triggers an increase in insulin and, consequently, insulin resistance. In addition, cortisol increases chronic low-grade inflammation and inhibits the production of melatonin, the sleep hormone, affecting rest and metabolism. Stress also increases cravings for sugary foods, creating a vicious cycle of consumption and metabolic impact. Chronic inflammation. Inflammation is another factor that interferes with insulin signals in the body. Processed vegetable oils, such as soybean, canola, and corn, are among the main sources of inflammation due to the high degree of oxidation suffered during processing. These oils, along with processed foods, chronic stress, a sedentary lifestyle, and environmental toxins, contribute to systemic inflammation. Replacing them with less processed fats, such as olive oil, coconut oil, and avocado, can reduce oxidative damage. The role of the gut microbiome. The balance of the gut microbiome is essential for metabolism and general health. Research has shown that changes in the microbiome can significantly impact body weight, food cravings, and even metabolic response. Fecal transplants in rat and human studies have shown that introducing healthy microbiomes can influence weight and metabolic health. However, rebuilding the microbiome must be accompanied by a diet rich in fiber, prebiotics, and whole foods to ensure sustainable effects. Antibiotics and artificial sweeteners are major enemies of the microbiome, as they eliminate beneficial bacteria or promote the growth of pathogens. Sedentary lifestyle and genetics. A sedentary lifestyle contributes to insulin resistance and other metabolic disorders. Exercise helps combat inflammation, promotes microbiome balance, and improves insulin sensitivity. Although diet plays a more significant role in metabolic control, exercise offers complementary benefits such as better sleep regulation and reduced stress. On the other hand, genetic factors can predispose a person to insulin resistance, but epigenetic studies show that lifestyle choices, such as healthy eating and physical activity, can minimize these effects. The impact of global diet. Dietary changes in populations that traditionally consume diets rich in whole grain starches, such as those in China and India, have shown the negative effects of the introduction of processed and sugary foods. Although rice, beans, and lentils were historically well tolerated, the addition of sugar and processed foods is causing an epidemic of insulin resistance and metabolic diseases in these regions. These factors highlight the need for an integrated approach to metabolic health, including conscious dietary choices, stress management, regular exercise, and supporting gut health to promote a balanced metabolism and prevent disease. Strategies to improve metabolic health. Given the factors that affect metabolic health, effective strategies can be implemented to minimize damage and promote balance in the body. Reduce sugar and processed food intake. The top priority should be to limit the intake of added sugars and processed foods. Replacing them with fiber-rich whole foods, such as fresh fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and lean proteins, can reduce the burden on the liver and improve insulin response. Embrace healthy fats. Choosing high-quality fats, such as those found in olive oil, avocados, nuts, and omega-3 rich fish, can help reduce inflammation and improve cellular function. Avoiding refined and processed oils is essential to minimize oxidative damage. Stress management. Stress management practices such as meditation, yoga, mindfulness, and deep breathing exercises help reduce cortisol levels. This reduces the negative impacts of chronic stress, such as inflammation and insulin resistance. Improved sleep. Ensuring quality sleep is essential for metabolic health. Establishing a consistent sleep routine and avoiding bright screens before bed helps maintain balanced melatonin levels, favoring metabolism and reducing the effects of cortisol. Regular physical activity. Physical exercise should be incorporated into the daily routine, even at moderate levels. Activities such as walking, weight training, and aerobic exercise not only increase insulin sensitivity, but also promote the balance of the intestinal microbiome and reduce stress. Strengthening the intestinal microbiome. Consuming foods rich in probiotics, such as natural yogurt, kefir, and sauerkraut, and prebiotics, such as fiber found in onions, garlic, and green bananas, contributes to the diversity and health of beneficial bacteria in the intestine. Avoiding unnecessary antibiotics and artificial sweeteners is also essential. Nutrition education and awareness. Educational campaigns to raise awareness about the effects of sugar and processed foods are vital. Educating vulnerable populations about the importance of healthy eating can help reverse the growing epidemic of metabolic diseases on a global scale. The role of science and personalized medicine. As research advances, new approaches to metabolic health are emerging. Studies on epigenetics and the microbiome offer insights into how environmental and lifestyle factors interact with genetics. Personalized interventions, such as specific diets based on genetic and gut profiles, promise more effective and sustainable results. Additionally, digital tools, such as food and health tracking apps, can empower individuals to monitor their habits and identify patterns that promote or harm their health. Lifestyle and health. How our habits influence gene expression and aging. While your genetic makeup is immutable, the way your genes are expressed can vary widely depending on environmental and behavioral factors. This phenomenon, known as epigenetics, is influenced by your lifestyle, as we frequently discuss in our content. Aging and insulin resistance. Aging is naturally associated with an increase in insulin resistance. Studies show that as we age, cells tend to respond less efficiently to the hormone insulin, predisposing us to conditions such as type 2 diabetes. Although we cannot change our chronological age, epigenetics offers us the possibility of influencing our biological age. Through appropriate choices, it is possible to modulate the effects of aging on the body. The impact of sleep on metabolic health. The quality and quantity of sleep play a crucial role in hormonal and metabolic balance. Research shows that just one night of insufficient sleep can raise levels of cortisol, known as the stress hormone. This contributes to increased inflammation, blood sugar, and insulin resistance, in addition to intensifying food cravings, especially for carbohydrates and ultra-processed foods. Medications and insulin resistance. Certain medications, such as corticosteroids, beta blockers, thiazide diuretics, statins, and hormonal contraceptives, can worsen insulin resistance. In addition, insulin itself, when administered in excess, can perpetuate this condition. To understand your metabolic state, it is essential to perform tests such as fasting insulin, to assess insulin sensitivity, detailed cholesterol panel, NMR, which analyzes the size and density of LDL particles, CRP, C-reactive protein, an inflammatory marker, homocysteine, especially relevant in people with the MTHFR genetic variant, which makes it difficult to metabolize it. Strategies to optimize your metabolic health. Whole foods diet. Reducing or eliminating the consumption of processed foods is one of the most effective ways to improve metabolic health. Intermittent fasting. Consuming 1 to 3 meals a day, without snacking in between, can help regulate insulin levels and promote fat burning. Carbohydrate-adjusted diet. For those with insulin resistance, a low to moderate carb approach, focusing on vegetables and leafy greens, may be ideal. Quality protein. Sources such as grass-fed meats, wild-caught fish, and plant-based proteins help preserve lean mass without overtaxing the metabolism. Healthy fats. Focus on extra virgin olive oil, avocado oil, nuts, seeds, and natural beef fat, avoiding processed oils. The role of dietary diversity. A variety of foods provide essential nutrients not only for human cells, but also for the gut microbiome. A healthy microbiota is crucial for digestion, immunity, and metabolic regulation. Increase your intake of vegetables, leafy greens, and other fiber-rich foods to diversify your gut flora. Monitoring and personalization. The key to health breakthroughs. To maximize the benefits of lifestyle changes, it is essential to regularly monitor health markers and adjust strategies as needed. Here are some practices that can help you delve deeper into your journey. Gut microbiome analysis. Advanced testing can identify imbalances in your gut flora and suggest specific interventions, such as probiotics, prebiotics, or dietary adjustments. Omega-3 to omega-6 fatty acid ratio. This balance directly affects inflammation in the body. High intake of omega-6, found in refined oils, relative to omega-3, found in fatty fish and flax seeds, is associated with a higher risk of inflammatory and metabolic diseases. Assessment for nutritional deficiencies. Minerals such as magnesium, zinc, and selenium are crucial for metabolic and antioxidant functions. Work with a professional to identify deficiencies and supplement appropriately. Lifestyle as preventive medicine. Recent studies in the field of epigenetics demonstrate that simple practices can positively alter the expression of genes related to longevity and metabolic health. Here are some of the main recommendations. Regular physical exercise, aerobic and resistance activities, such as weight training, are powerful metabolic modulators, increasing insulin sensitivity and reducing inflammatory markers. Relaxation techniques. Meditation, yoga, and deep breathing exercises not only help reduce stress, but also have epigenetic impacts by modulating the expression of genes related to cortisol and inflammation. Adequate hydration. Often overlooked, hydration is essential for cellular function, body temperature regulation, and metabolism optimization. Sun exposure. Vitamin D synthesis is essential for bone health, immunity, and metabolic control. Aim for moderate daily sun exposure, but with protection to avoid skin damage. The importance of consistency. Sustainable changes happen over time, and consistency is the greatest ally in this process. Avoid looking for quick or extreme solutions, and focus on continuous progress, aligned with your body's needs. Small daily changes, such as swapping processed foods for natural options or prioritizing 30 minutes of physical activity, can have profound health impacts over the years. A call to action. If you are committed to achieving a healthier lifestyle, now is the time to take action. Aim to implement these changes gradually, with professional support whenever necessary. Your health is a long-term investment, and each conscious choice made today will reflect on your future well-being. Remember, your genetics are a starting point, but your daily decisions shape your genetic expression, your biological age, and ultimately your quality of life. If this content was helpful, subscribe for more information, turn on notifications, and share with people who could benefit from these tips. We are here to help you build a solid path towards the best version of yourself. See you in the next video. Take care of yourself and stay at peace in your heart.